Hi guys, and welcome back here to Drone Emotion, a channel where we do drone videos and where we cover the most recent and most relevant drone news. Today my friends, we're back here once again with a brand new video with some breaking news for all of you regarding the long awaited DJI Mavic 3, and that is because we have some brand new information regarding the specs that the new DJI Mavic 3 will be having. We just got some confirmations of which specs are going to be for the Mavic 3 and which specs will be for the Mavic 3 Pro. So in today's video we're going to be sharing with you some brand new information which includes the flight time, which in my opinion is absolutely mind-blowing. It's going to blow all of your guys' mind. But before we get started with today's video, if you're new to the channel, welcome here, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button, because in this channel we will always be the first ones to bring you the most recent drone news no matter what. So if you want to keep up to date with any upcoming DJI drone release such as the Mini 3, the Mavic 3, or any other product coming in the near future, this is the place to come for all of the update, leaks, and official information. So don't hesitate to subscribe. And also we're currently in the road to 10,000 subscribers, and right now we're less than 3,000 subscribers away. So if you're watching today's video and you're not subscribed, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and join the Drone Emotion family so you can help us get to that goal, which we're really not that far away from, guys, anymore. So with that being said, why don't we just go ahead and dive right into today's video, which is going to be a quite exciting one for all of you. And well, for the past weeks we've had some information and some leaks here and there regarding the Mavic 3. Now particularly the biggest leaks that we had were thanks to our great guy Rafael from Drone Modelismo, and thanks to him he was able to get an exclusive view at the Mavic 3. Unfortunately, he was not able to share official images, but he shared some drawings that we have shared with you previously, and also he shared with us some specifications that we have shared with you in the past week. But just today, thanks to our great friend Deals Drone in Twitter, we have some brand new information for all of you regarding the specifications. So what we're about to go through is going to be what look to be the confirmed specs for the Mavic 3. Now these specifications are coming from two different sources, Deals Drone and Rafael, and both of them match perfectly pretty much, and I think it's safe to say that these specs are going to be what we're going to be finding in the final Mavic 3 and Mavic 3 Pro. As we know, there are going to be two different versions. We've talked about that in a previous video, and we're gonna go ahead and get started with what we have. So we have the specifications for all of you, so let's go ahead and run them down. So let's go ahead and talk about the camera specs. Now we know that there are going to be two different versions, the Mavic 3 and the Mavic 3 Pro. That has now been confirmed once again, so I think it's safe to say we're going to be having a Mavic 3. Now for everyone out there wondering what will the name be, well, we have received confirmation that the name will stay Mavic 3. The Mavic name will not be dropped. Now for the Pro version, we still don't know what the name is going to be, but I'm expecting it to be called the DJI Mavic 3 Pro. That's not confirmed yet. So the main difference between these two drones are going to be the camera setups that we're going to be finding. Now in the Pro model, obviously we're going to be having a more professional camera setup, which we're going to be talking about the specs in just a second. But as far as the Mavic 3 version is concerned, we're going to be finding ourselves with a dual setup camera. Now in the top, we're going to be finding ourselves with a 7x zoom camera, which is going to be quite nice, and then we don't know if it's going to be an optical zoom or a digital zoom. That is still to be defined. Now in the bottom, we're going to be having our wide angle camera, which is going to be having a resolution of 5.7K, which is quite good. Now it's a little bit higher resolution than the current Air 2S, so it's not that bad. Now the aperture, that is a really important factor. Now it looks like the aperture is going to be an f2.8, and it's going to be an equivalent to a 24mm lens. Now we don't know if it's going to be a variable or it's going to be a fixed aperture. Now if it's fixed, that will definitely be a big letdown, and I know all of you guys will also agree with me, because that's basically an Air 2S camera. Let's just be honest, we all want a variable aperture. Now I am not very concerned, because on the Mavic 2 Pro, if you actually go ahead and take a look at the Hasselblad camera, you will see that you are gonna find underneath the Hasselblad branding the f2.8 28mm lens equivalent. So let's go ahead and take a look at that. So I think it is quite possible that the people who were able to have an exclusive view at the Mavic 3, they saw those specifications on the camera written, and that is what they're sharing with us. Now, the Mavic 2 Pro obviously has a variable aperture, so I think this is good news, because that means that we're going to be having most likely a variable aperture, and I think it will make no sense for DJI to release the Mavic 3 without a variable aperture. Now let's go ahead and keep on moving on. We're going to be having two lenses that are going to be able to be switched. DJI is also going to include a 16mm adapter lens, which is quite nice. That's going to be giving us a wider field of view. Now, once again, we just got confirmation that there are going to be two versions once the Mavic 3 is released. Now, for the Mavic 3 Pro, which is the high-end version, that is going to be having a 1TB internal memory. It's going to be a solid state drive, which is quite impressive, and we're going to be finding ourselves with an Apple Pro Res format support, which is quite impressive, and it's basically the same format support that we have on the Inspire 2, which is definitely very impressive. Now let's go ahead and keep on moving on. Now, what about the Mavic 3? Will that also have a 1TB internal memory? No, that will not be the case. The normal Mavic 3 will not have internal storage, so that's definitely a big letdown, but we're still going to be able to have our micro SD card. Now let's go ahead and keep on moving on and talk about what we have regarding the sensor size. Now, most likely we're going to be finding ourselves with a 1-inch sensor for this Mavic 3. The sensor size is not confirmed yet, but most likely it will be a 1-inch sensor. And then for the Mavic 3 Pro, we're going to be finding a much more professional camera setup. We have received numerous leaks, and especially from the guys over at Drone DJ, they received confirmation that the Mavic 3 will have a micro four thirds sensor. So I think it is quite likely that that's going to be what we have on the Mavic 3, and especially we know that all of you are not going to want to upgrade this Mavic 3 Pro if it doesn't offer something that we have not seen previously. So I think it is very important for DJI to offer something definitely revolutionary with this Mavic 3 Pro camera setup. So a micro four thirds sensor is going to be what we're going to be finding ourselves with this new Mavic 3. So that's definitely quite nice, and I know all of those professional filmmakers out there are going to be very pumped for that, because that's basically what we get with the Zenmuse X5S camera. So that's definitely quite impressive. Now let's go ahead and keep on moving on and talk about battery life. Well, in our last video where we talked about the specs, we said that there was going to be a battery life of over 40 minutes. Now, about 3 months ago, we said the same thing to you, battery life over 40 minutes. And well, guess what happened, guys? Guess what the battery life is going to be? Well, it's going to be 45 minutes. Without a doubt, this is extremely impressive, to say the least. This will make the Mavic 3 the consumer drone with the longest flight time, which, I mean, it is going to surpass the Autolivo 2 with that 40-minute flight time, which was already very impressive. And the Mavic 2 Pro and the Mavic 2 Zoom had a 30-minute flight time, which, I mean, that's really not that bad. Now, let's go ahead and talk about the remote controller, because we have some new information regarding that. Well, there's going to be a new remote controller, but it will be the same controller that we have with the DJI Air 2S, which is basically this controller that we have right here. A lot of people like it, a lot of people don't, but I think that the majority of people really like the shape and ergonomics of this controller. I think it feels real nice in the hand. Now, let's talk about transmission. Well, we have received confirmation that the transmission of the Mavic 3 will be OcuSync 3.0, which will give us over 13 kilometers of range, which is right around 8 miles of range, right around that, which is basically the same system that we have with the FPV drone and with the Air 2S, which does a really good job. Now, also we have some information here saying that there's going to be a new remote with a screen, so most likely we're going to be finding ourselves with an LCD screen. Not confirmed yet, but I think it is quite likely, and I think that is something very important, and we'll definitely expect to see an LCD screen with all of the telemetrics of the drone. I think that's something real nice to have, such as what we've been having with the past 2 generations of the Mavic Pro series, with the original Mavic Pro and with the Mavic 2. So I think it will make sense for DJI to keep that on the new Mavic 3 controller. And we also do know that the new Smart Controller 2 is going to be coming out here in the next few months. Now let's go ahead and talk about size, because we received some confirmation regarding that. Now it looks like the size of the Mavic 3 will be a bit larger than the current Mavic 2, which weighs a little bit over 900 grams. It's close to the 1 kilogram mark. Now this is made with an intuitive naked eye view, so it was not measured and it was not done in a scale, so there could be some errors to this, but it looks like the bottom is going to be a little bit bigger. Hopefully guys, let's cross our fingers that the weight stays below 900 grams, because we know all the regulations in Europe are dictating that it should weigh under 900 grams. Now let's go ahead and finish this video of talking about release date. Well, we talked about in our previous video from yesterday that the release date for the Mavic 3 will not be happening in 2022 as it was originally anticipated, and it looks like they're going to be having some delays with the Mavic 3, and it was going to be pushed back for 2022 sometime in January. But no, that will not be the case, and once again we got confirmation that the Mavic 3 is scheduled for this November, so it is right around the corner guys. And those are all the current leaks for the specifications of the Mavic 3 and the latest updates that we have. So definitely some very exciting information. Let me know what you guys think. Are you excited for this new Mavic 3 and Mavic 3 Pro? I mean, I am pretty excited. Let me know what you guys think. Are you gonna be picking this bad boy in the first day it drops? Let me know down in the comment section down below. Do you think these specs are enough for you, or were you hoping for something more? So that's gonna be a wrap for today's video guys. I hope that you enjoyed, and as soon as you have any more information, specs or anything, including leaked images that should not take a very long time before we get them, you're gonna have them here first. You don't need to worry about that. That is all that I have for you today. Thanks so much for watching, and see you tomorrow with a brand new video. This is Drone Emotion, signing out.